Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday. Where were you last night? You didn't miss us because we weren't there either.
That's right. We
Yeah.
weren't.
Nope. We're going to get ready to record this week's podcast here on a Tuesday afternoon because when Ricky is out of town, actually out of the continent, not even out of the country, out of the continent, we can do whatever we want.
We're free.
We work from home. We don't have to commute into the car dealership thing. Is that where she works, Pam? I mean, I don't know where
she does social media for like a large car dealership. Yes.
But where do you think she actually goes during the day? I've never really.
It's a building, not like a car dealership building. No, I don't think so. I think it's a larger building. So.
Do you think she can run one of those the hammer the guns to take the tires off?
Like so when they have a big backup of people who need tires, yes, they're like, Ricky, we need you in Bay 3.
That's it. We need all millennials to Bay 6. All millennials that play with social media all day, Bay 6, please.
That's right.
Your safety goggles.
I can't picture that for some reason.
Oh, I could see her thinking she could run a compression hammer or whatever those things are called. And then I can see it. It's like she goes, and she's like a cartoon. She's against the back wall. And then she blames it on Brian.
And Brian's like, I'm sorry, babe.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I should have told you. Don't touch that thing. It's got a lot of hit to it, a lot of recoil. So, hey, guys. Hey, James. Hey, Jeff. Glad you're here. Let's see.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeff, I'll be down there May 1 through 6. So look for me. I'll be posting on social media. I'll be running around because I'll be at cheerleading some, but some of the time I'll be just having fun.
You got to practice this. Okay.
No, they don't do it that way, dude. It's crazy. You're gonna, man, if you have free time, you got to come over one day just to watch. The cheerleading's fun to watch. The parents are even more crazy.
Oh, I'm afraid. I worry about that. I do worry about that.
Oh, Justin just got home. Sad stuff. Oh, that's
oh, the Disney blues, my friend.
Jennifer sailing in 3 days. Oh man,
Jennifer.
We have 79 days, just so you know.
Really? Is that where we're at?
79 to the Disney dream.
Wow.
All right, let's get to this. Let's see here.
We're going to do 2 shows, and for the second show, I mean, we need your questions for the first show too, but for the second show, we're really going to need them. Start thinking of questions that you can ask us about the best of things at Disney World. Right, Mike? Explain that to them.
The best, like, could be like best burger. Where would you go for the best burger? Like the best Sunday, the best chairs by the pool.
The best night's sleep.
The best what?
Night sleep. The best night's sleep.
Okay.
Well, which resort do you think has the best like overall place to sleep? Like when you sleep there, you sleep well. Also, sports? Seriously, no. Okay.
With all the cheerleaders and the Pickerson walls, sports.
No, not
Natalie.
true.
Hey, Natalie, she's ready to run. She's got her room for marathon weekend. Hey, Joanne, welcome home. Are you home? Yeah, I think you are home now. You were gone so long, I can't remember. In autumn, the answer from Pam will always be flying fish, but we'll answer during the show. It's going to do a preview. Flying fish.
Not true. I should
eat on the boardwalk. You kidding me? You're going to say flying fish. I know.
Oh, well, there's really not. Yes, flying fish is great. What's your other choice? ESPN Club.
Heck yeah, I love that.
No. That's like TGI Fridays.
Who cares? There's nothing wrong with that. I go to Texas House every Tuesday, man. That's like my.
I know, but you're looking for the overall best experience. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna send people to the Applebee's of Walt Disney World.
What about the best place that starts with an E and ends with an N?
Lost your mind.
That's a good question too. Okay, we got to actually do this because I got a bajillion things to do. I got to quit playing like it's Tuesday night. It's not. I got 100 things I should be doing, but we're here having fun.
I have my list. I know. I keep a book. I actually keep a book right next to me. Here's how many to-do lists I have. I have the book that sits at my desk. I have ongoing Google Keep and other issues. I have lists that are downstairs. It's nuts. So, anyways.
Don't forget, we do have to ask where's the best taco at WDW for Friday. That'll be a good one. All right, we have good questions, so we got to get to this, man.
It's not Taco Bell.
Stop. Yeah, not Taco Bell. I really don't have many tacos at Walt Disney World. I have fajitas.
There's one place I have tacos. two sometimes, but one I think is much better than the other.
All right, Teresa, you've done the hard part. Once you get out there, it's all downhill from there. You got it. You're already a lizard if you want to be, because you're going. Okay, here we go. What number is this? 1470. Welcome to episode 1470 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Man, here in the Midwest, spring has sprung. I've been able to wear a t-shirt and shorts this week. It has been beautiful. The Cardinals are back home playing the Dodgers. I mean, life is great. Just hearing the birds sing in the morning. Not having to bundle up, life is really good right now. And we got Disney trips coming up here soon for a lot of us. I just love talking Disney with you guys. So we're going to have a good time talking today. Maybe it's because somebody's missing. No, it's not because somebody's missing today. No way. I've enjoyed her from a distance from another continent this week. So it's all good. So joining me today for a fun listener question show, we have Pam Forrester, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. What's going on, Pam?
Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to be with you all today. I think that we should try, Mike, this is our goal for this podcast. Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
We're going to try to be more profesh. Like Ricky's not here. There's not going to be any cats or anyone pouring themselves a pot of coffee, during the podcast. So we are really trying for profesh.
That is true. She has animals, coffee, snacks, and every once in a while she yelled at her husband during the show. So,
and the poor cat tore his ACL. What the heck? Is he like in sports on the off time here? Like he, poor guy, poor Opie.
Yeah, he'll be down for a few months, and they'll send him down to single A, and then he'll work his way back up through triple A, and be back up to the Cardinals by the call-ups in September. So
it'll be a heartwarming story about his comeback, I think, I can tell you. So anyways, thoughts to Opie.
Yes, Opie, we're thinking of you.
We need a hashtag.
Yeah, thoughts for Opie. All right, so we got a couple of housekeeping things I want to get off here at the top of the show. First of all, a huge shout out to one of our listeners, Adam Wheatley down in Nashville, Tennessee. If you have not noticed, and I have been screaming it from the rooftops on social media, check out our website, beourguestpodcast.com. I know if you've been there the last 10 years, you're like, Mike, you don't want me to go to your website. It's ugly. And I know it was ugly, but I didn't know how to do much with it. So I did the best I could. It was terribly ugly. But
like an AOL site.
It was GeoCities. But here's the thing. It is a hot website now. I mean, it looks good. So drop by. You can always listen to the shows right away. It looks great on mobile. You just bookmark it on your phone. If you want to put it on like one of those home screen icons, it's like having an app. You can listen anytime. You can get all the information. We got Meet the Crew. We've got all kinds of stuff there. Friends of the show. All kinds of great links. So check it out, beourguestpodcast.com. A huge shout out to Adam. We couldn't have done it without him. He got it done for us. And the hard part is he's training us how to update it. So
I know, because we're morons. We're like, how do you change this one thing? And Adam, like, boom, he writes back this whole tutorial for idiots. And
that's what we are. That's exactly.
We know our strengths, and it is not website building.
It's not.
Anyways,
so, thank you, Adam. Tip of the hat.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Another thing, this Sunday night, we're going to have another call-in live show. It's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, right here on the Facebook page, facebook.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Special guest answering your questions, Matt Parrish.
He knows a lot.
I know. He's like all over the place. Yeah, he's from 3028 Wedway Radio, that other show. And so we're going to have a good time talking Disney. So if you want to talk to Matt, come on, call in Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on Facebook. And real quick, before we get to the questions, Pam, we're almost cruising. It's 78 days from the August Podcast Cruise on the Disney Dream. So give us a little update for those that are sailing this summer.
So I don't know if y'all knew this, but there's a Facebook group for this. Search for it. It's the Be Our Guest, podcast cruise group. I didn't start it, so I actually don't know the name of it.
I think it has 5 in there somewhere, like 5.0.
Yeah. Be Our Guest Podcast Cruisers 5.0. Can you believe this is 5.0? But if you are a member, great. Make a point to stop by and comment or lay a GIF or anything on one of the posts, because that ensures that you'll see the post more often. Facebook has this algorithm. They like to show you things that you've commented or liked before. So try to do that. We are going to be wrapping up the fish extender signups on May 1st. That was a suggestion by Joanne, and that was a good suggestion, Joanne, to help keeping up our track there.
I may miss signing up for the fish extender.
No. If you do not sign yourself up, I am signing you up. I'm just kidding.
No,
yes, sir.
Vader when he finds out that Padme died. No.
Everyone has to do it. So anyway, sign up for that. There's a place where you can enter your information, like your stateroom number and stuff like that. So we get to know a little bit about you. So we know that everyone that's cruising with us, they're planning some things already there, but we want you to get involved in the fun. We want the cruise to be about the things that you want to do and that. And remember, we have 2 great days at Castaway Cay on this cruise. There are still some staterooms available on the sailing date, just saying. So it's not too late to go if you don't end up with FOMO.
Yeah, that's it. Seriously, it's so much fun. These cruises, they are great. So
I know.
Cruising's awesome. Cruising with friends, all the better. And
I agree.
All the tastings, all the meats, all the stuff on Castaway Cay, lots of fun. So housekeeping out of the way, let's get to the questions. And let's see here. Let's go with the cruising question, right? That just came in like right this second. I haven't even read it yet, but I see there's a question mark at the end. So let's go with it.
Okay.
Cole Bassett in the chat. Cruising in June after 4 days at Walt Disney World. Hey, I'm cruising in June after 4 days in Walt Disney World too. First time to Castaway Cay. We have a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old. Can they both do the kids club on the island while we are parasailing? So if you don't know, Castaway Cay has kind of the equivalent of like the Oceaneers Club, the Oceaneers Lab. It's called a Spring Leak? No, is that something else? That's a water park. But there's like a kids area that's like
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so can a 14-year-old go there? I don't know. Or wait, 8 and 14. I think it might be too old for a 14-year-old.
I think the 14-year-old gets to go on their own. There's sort of an area for that teen group that gets to go. It's actually, so I will tell you, when I cruised last with Jocelyn and the Papadias and the Amosons, our husbands decided they were going to play beach volleyball.
I heard about this. I heard it was a recreation of the Top Gun scene.
It was. We were, and all the ladies were aflutter. We were like, oh no. We were like, what the heck? You guys can't do this anymore. 2-man beach volleyball? Are you kidding me? And it took forever, let me say that. And it was hot too. Not really hot, but sort of hot. But anyways, over there, I actually discovered the teen area. There's actually a really cool kind of hangout place. It's over by the beach volleyball courts, which are sort of by the Cookies 2 location. And they have a great sort of hangout spot for them. They don't do quite the supervision like of the younger kids. There's a cast member there who can help facilitate that.
Yeah, and it's a cool place because Mallory's gone there with her. I think Mallory and Emily went there together. Mallory went with somebody one time, and it wasn't something she wanted to stay there for a long time. She stayed there for like an hour. We did something and came back and got her, and it was all good because there's lots of stuff they can do there that's age appropriate and fun for the kids.
And dads, if you want to do 2-man beach volleyball.
Yeah. We're going to do that on Castaway Cay.
Steve probably still has an injury from that. Just saying.
We'll rotate through. So yeah, I can't wait. And parasailing on Castaway Cay is a lot of fun. I mean, you get really, really high in the water when you're up there. Just for the record, the water looks like it's about 6 inches deep.
That's seriously what Mike kept telling me. After you did it, you're like, that water's shallow. I'm like, it's not shallow. You're like, dude, it's shallow. It's shallow. I'm like, it's really not shallow.
So. It looks like it's 6 inches deep. It looks like a water puddle because it's so clear. I mean, you can see all the rocks and stuff.
It is. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. All right, next question from Jake in Aurora, Colorado. He says, go Rockies. He says, Mike, in BOGP crew, I have an odd question due to the circumstances of my upcoming trip. My significant other and I will be taking our first ever trip to the world coming up in April. We are able to make this trip happen due to a family friend who happens to be a cast member. Their tickets do not allow us to attach them to our My Disney Experience app, thus making FastPass reservations tricky. The cast member can make the original 3 FastPass reservations for us 1 week before the trip, but while in the parks, we have to use the kiosks to make any additional reservations. I was curious if anyone has suggestions on what times during the day we should carve out some time to make additional FastPasses, or should we just follow our touring plan and not worry so much about the kiosks? Just wanted to make this trip as enjoyable as possible. Love the show. It helps the workday fly by. Thanks, Jacob. All right, so Pam, I kind of wanted to hit this kind of like from a general, when you get to the rolling fast pass situation, because you can make those on the app as well as the kiosks. And to be honest, I never use the kiosks anymore because do we all kind of feel like it's a rookie move to go to the kiosk? Maybe.
Well, yeah, but this person has to.
I know, but it's like I don't want to be one of those people. If I had to, I had to. I mean, you're getting in for free. So, what advice would you have for somebody that's in this kind of a situation?
So here's the thing to keep in mind. After you make your initial 3 fast pass reservations and you go ahead and complete those fast pass reservations, you can make more fast pass reservations either through the app on your phone or at the kiosks. Now, you have to make those one at a time. So you really won't need to carve out a time to do it. Just after you do your original 3, stop by the kiosk, go ahead and make your next reservation for what you want. For me, making additional fast pass reservations after those initial 3 works best at Magic Kingdom. I am able to do what they call the rolling fast pass again and again and again right there. And that's something that you should probably take advantage of while you're there. I think it's a little less effective maybe at Epcot because there's just not that many attractions, folks.
Plus, when you get to the Epcot in the studios, you got the tiered system too, which works in this kind of situation.
It does. But you could the thing about the rolling fast pass is, in theory, if you made a tier 1 fast pass with one of your initial 3, after you were done, if there happened to be another tier 1 available, you could make it again. But that does not happen very often. So, if you're really going to try for the rolling fast pass, I would suggest making your fast passes as early as you can in the morning and then keep it going, because that's your best chance of getting that. And keep checking. Checking, because the availability actually does change all the time. It really, really does. So, I mean, I've shared with you the last time I went there, I didn't make fast passes before I got there, and I ended up with fast passes for most of the major attractions in the Magic Kingdom and a dessert party. So, it's not such a bad day.
I would drop this mic, but it's expensive. So I'm not. So you know what? Here's what happened when we were down for Marathon weekend, or maybe it was Princess weekend when Scott was down there. And no, it was Marathon weekend because Elizabeth was back home. And so we didn't have a lot of fast passes because we really weren't worried about it because we were running so much. But we would call her and she would make fast passes and she would make them, change them. And by the time she changed them and added people and subtracted people, eventually we would end up with 2 fast passes for the e-ticket attractions 20 minutes from now. Because she would keep modifying things and it would change up the availability, would shuffle the deck, I guess. Mm-hmm. And she's like, okay, in 20 minutes, you got Everest. We're like, whoa, we couldn't get that. She's like, I just mess around with the system. So, another tip is talk to Elizabeth Gardner on what her system is. She probably will give it up. All right, next a question. It's from James in the chat. Jico is our new favorite dinner. How would kids do there? We're bringing them in July. And I agree. Jico is a solid dinner, even if you have to eat a bird nest at the end of the meal. So, Pam, what do you think? I mean, in general, how would kids do at a place, most signature restaurants, especially one like Jico? I think Jico's maybe a little more casual than most signatures.
Well, so the thing is, you're at Disney World, so there's always going to be kids at just about every restaurant. The only, I think, time that you won't see a ton of kids is at Victoria and Albert's. There actually is an age requirement for that, but it's the only restaurant on Disney property, so there's no other place you aren't going to see kids. My advice for kids is typically try to dine around the time that they're used to. You don't want it to be a later night because then you're going to have fidgety kids who are hangry and fidgety adults who are probably hangry too. So that doesn't make for a great experience. I think Jico is a little more quiet than some of the restaurants, but there's a lot of things to see and a lot of things that kind of, to occupy you while you're there. They have these birds that are sort of flying around the restaurant and they change the lighting. So it's like sunset on the savannah. It's really great. The other thing is that the wait staff at all the Disney restaurants are really so great in working with kids. They may ask you if you want the child's entrees to come out before yours. That's something each of you, as a parent, you have to decide how you're going to deal with that situation. I've shared before, when Hannah was little, we wanted ice cream sundae to come out when our entrees come out for Hannah. That would occupy her.
That is such a great hack. Like, that is so smart. And I would never think of that.
But she was happy about it. She's on vacation too. We did make her eat real food as well. But it just occupied her and really gave us a chance to enjoy the meal. So that's something that we do, but every family kind of deals with that challenge differently. And I think the other great thing about Jico is you're right there at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. So as a parent, you can always say, remember, we're going to be on our best behavior because if we are, we can go out and see the animals after we're done. And so I think that little prompts like that always help. So
I figure if you're not good, we're going to toss you off the balcony and you're going to have to deal with the rhino.
No, yes, the wildebeest.
The wildebeest.
Might hit you, yes.
Mongoose.
So anyways, but lots of things to do and see there. And I would not hesitate at taking any kids to any of the Disney restaurants. I just wouldn't. So.
All right. Here's a good question for you, Pam. It's from Paul Callahan in the chat. He says, hey guys, what's the top thing to do in Walt Disney World when you have only an evening when you're on a business trip? So you're down there, say you're at a conference at the Coronado or maybe over the Swan and Dolphin, what have you, Contemporary. You're there on a business trip. It's like you have one night where they're like, free time. We're cutting you loose at 4:30. We'll see you tomorrow. Like, you've been in that situation a lot. So what are some things to consider?
So I would want to go to a park that was going to have some kind of nighttime show, some kind of fireworks show, because for me, that's sort of the quintessential Disney experience. And right now I am just, I love Illuminations. I'm so glad they're getting something new. I think Happily Ever After just hits it out of the park. That with the Once Upon a Time projection show, I think is a slam dunk way to end the evening. So I would head to the Magic Kingdom. And again, that's going to be your best chance of possibly, still picking up some fast passes. But even if you can't, there are so many attractions at the Magic Kingdom that you don't have to worry about so much waiting in line, even if they are things like the Tiki Birds and Country Bears and Hall of Presidents. But those are classic attractions. And hello, Carousel of Progress and TTA. There's not a huge wait for those. So I think that there's just a lot to do there in the Magic Kingdom. I think you're going to end your night with something that's really spectacular. Just the absolute wow moments that happen during Happily Ever After, I think, are just so awesome. So
I agree. Or you could do like a Disney Springs if you don't have tickets. You could really make a night out of that. But I mean, I understand that you want to, if you have tickets, definitely go to a park. And
yeah, for sure.
Stay till it closes. Jocelyn's in our chat, one of our great agents over at the Magic for Less with awesome kids. And she says her kids love Jico. They actually have been talking about it and comparing every steak to theirs. There you go.
Love that. Yeah, Jico does make a great steak, I will tell you. And you can still get it with that famous mac and cheese. So
yeah, and Justin's daughter loves Jico as well. So Jico more popular with the kids than you might have ever thought. All right, next question is from Adam. Actually, it's a statement, I believe. It says, hey, Mike, just listened to episode 1467, which was last week's listener question show, and heard you ask if listeners from the UK celebrate the 4th of July. Well, yeah. I do, because it's my birthday. When I was a kid, my mother used to tell me that the Americans were all celebrating my birthday when I saw the fireworks on TV. Adam from Newcastle, UK. So there you go. Happy birthday.
Love that. Love that.
That really goes out big for your birthday, I'm telling you.
I know. That's what look at all the things we do. You have to come over here and celebrate with us.
That's right. All right, Clarissa Dawn has a question in the chat. Hey guys, love the podcast. Thank you so much for all the wonderful advice and keeping the Disney spark alive at our home. Well, thank you for letting us in. My fiance and I are doing Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party for the second time in September. What are your must-dos for second timers? We had an absolute blast the first time and can't wait to go again. It's interesting because we always get the question about first timers. Here's what I would say just off the top for second timers. You have a little, how the party goes now. You kind of know the layout when you can get in, where things kind of are in generalities. If did I like the stage show last time? Was I blown away by the Boo to You Halloween parade? What do I think of Hollow Wishes? I would just, obviously hit the things you enjoyed the first time, but maybe put on your radar, if you missed the stage show, maybe check it out this time, because you're going to be a little bit more efficient this time. You're not going to be discovering so much. You're going to be more of like, I know kind of how the flow of the thing goes. So I would say make sure you do a lot of trick-or-treating. Maybe if you didn't wear a costume last time, go in costumes. I don't know, Pam, what advice would you have for a second timer?
Yeah, there are things that I love so much about the Halloween party that I have to do every time. And those absolutely include the parade and the fireworks. I think they're both awesome. And just not to be missed. Then we tend to do a lot of trick-or-treating, and doing those different ones. There are different trick-or-treat trails. Wow, that is like a tongue twister. I think I get like a check plus for being able to do that the first time. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. That are long, and you get a ton of treats on those trails. So I think those are worth hitting once or twice or 3 times.
So you can't carry the candy anymore, really.
Right. There's no shame in your game.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I think those are worth it. But I also think that it's fun to throw in some of your favorite attractions, to have the opportunity to do that. Sometimes the lines are less during the parties, so check out those lines and see where they are. They sort of ebb and flow throughout the night, so if it seems too long, come back a different time. And I definitely still like doing all of the special events that are going to take place during the Halloween party. I understand like the desire to want to ride attractions, but I think for me, the Halloween party is more about doing the things I can only do then. And remember, if you are a collector of special pins or shirts or whatnot, they have pins and shirts and other merchandise that are only available at the party. I think people mostly just buy them and sell them on eBay, but you could do the same.
I think some people, I think some people look at these parties and say, this is a opportunity cost. Like, for example, having the Villains after hours from June to August, select nights. I think it's like 12 nights. And, the after hours events are insanely crazy. They're very popular. Every guest that I have that comes back, I always ask me, how'd your trip go? Would you like what would you change? Stuff like that. And every person did after hours. Like, I loved it. I mean, this is not a cheap event. So if the experience isn't pretty top quality, I would think people would be not giving such great reviews, because you're typically paying, like $100 if you're an AP holder, about 140 if you're, a regular person without any kind of discount, DVC or AP. So it's expensive, but people love it. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Pam, I mean, there's one of the biggest things, even at this Villains thing, they announced, there's not going to be any Villains meet and greets, but there's going to be a stage show. They're going to do some overlays with, I think, live characters on Pirates in Space. And, there's a lot of other stuff going on. Of course, all the little snacky things. But one of the things they really were pushing were merchandise and food opportunities during the party.
Oh, let me tell you, Disneyland in California has built a cult following on all of the incredibly interesting treats that it has, right? I mean, they're putting out some fantastic things. Every time I go to Disneyland, I'm always like, hey, how come we don't have this? But I think World is really catching on, right? Don't you think? Yep. They're more than just special cupcakes, my friends. There are way more.
I think they're crazy. Like, seriously, we are going to get to the point where, like, okay, I know they're beautiful, but like this, it's over the top, man. Some of these
never.
Oh my
God. Social media has made it so that last time we were there, we got the Up ice like Dole Whip thing.
Talking about you had to get it, like I
had to get it.
Yeah, Elizabeth got like the Rapunzel thing or something.
Yeah, the Rapunzel
from Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. She's like, it tasted okay. I mean, but it looked great.
It did look great. Are you kidding me?
It tastes great. Who cares what it looks like? Oh,
it's so fun though. It's beautiful, and all the special foods. At the same location at the Anti-Gravities is where I got the Up Dole Whip. They were selling this like shake that came with this huge Mickey shaped marshmallow that was on the straw. I mean, it was beautiful. The amount of social media coverage that Disney gets. This is a business model, my friend.
I get it.
You come up with something. People pay for it so they can take a picture and put it on their social media. Yeah. To market and promote you. Hello, people
and I do it every time. I am
absolutely.
I hate that I do it. Oh, I feel so. I need to go take a shower.
No, you don't. No, but think about the things that you find that you really love, like the Nutella waffles. And those were things that initially I think were going to be sort of limited time things. And look at how they've rolled out and sort of became staples. I mean, churros, they're cuckoo for churros in California. They have a different churro for every holiday. So anyways, I mean, the whole world of Disney food, I think, is exploding.
It's all because of AJ. It's all her fault. All your fault. Okay, so we have a question from Tim here, and it's right for you, Pam. And we love Tim. He's always in our chat here. So a question about valet parking for Pam. Last time we visited, we had issues with valet parking. We know when you pay once, you're allowed to valet park without charge at the other resorts. Mm-hmm. This often causes confusion, as every resort seems to have different procedures. This sounds so Disney. Do you have any advice to streamline this? What do you say, or what do you do to make this more seamless? We see this with so many, because the thing is, Walt Disney World is such a huge place, which is why we love it. But a lot of times the left hand isn't talking to the right hand. And, when you have 22 hands, like it's 7-headed octopus, I don't know. It gets really confusing. So
it does. And to throw more into the mix, it's like each resort is its own little fiefdom with its own set of rules. And you know what I mean? It's boggling. You think to yourself, why isn't there some consistency? And this is the reason. So you're absolutely right. When you're paying for valet parking, you should only have to pay for it once. The gratuities, of course, aren't included for the valets that take your car, but the actual charge, which is, as we're talking right now, I think it's $33 to valet park. That should only be done once. Sometimes they'll give you a receipt, and that may be something that you can show to the next spot that says, hey, I've already paid for valet parking today. I'd like to valet park here again. The other thing, I mean, I wish I had like the magic words that would make this all happen. Unfortunately, there just aren't any. I think it's just going to be explaining it each time. But the one thing you really want to be sure of is that they are not charging you afterwards. We didn't valet park, but we had, I forget what it was. We did valet park, and we went in, and it was a Tables in Wonderland thing. So we were able to park for free, and we found later that they had charged us anyways for it. So just make sure that you're checking your Disney Resort bill. I guess he had scanned one of our magic bands or things like that. But unfortunately, there's just no magic words for this. It's just going to be a process of explaining it at each location.
Yeah, it is. And it's, I think, once you actually, the problem is you will be fine, but it takes, 5 minutes to explain. I paid somewhere else. So
I know.
It's crazy. And shout out to Malcolm over in the UK. Hope family's doing great, because we were talking about that through email. So I'm glad to see you in here. This is the UK version today, so you don't stay up late. That's what we call this. All right, Gordy's got a question. Can you guys explain more about the discount Disney offers for your trip for your next trip when leaving your resort? Thanks in advance. So I think he's speaking of a bounce back. So bounce backs are pretty simple. Okay, so what you need to do is, in kind of the myth is like, maybe, if you're like a lucky chosen one, kind of like how the PIN codes go out, and it's like, we don't really know the rhyme or reason why you get an email. The thing is that when you're there on your trip, your current trip, you can typically book a bounce back. Now, there are a few exceptions where they're not available. They're almost always available for some dates. Right. You can either contact your travel agent, but you got to be checked in on a current reservation. Like, you have to actually physically be checked in first, because they verify that through the system. Mm-hmm. Once you're checked in on that reservation, you have till midnight the day you check out not midnight. You got until they close, which is 10 o'clock Eastern. And so if you have a travel agent, please let us know, like, by dinner time. This is
that's right.
So anyway, what happens is, you can find out they have some good offers for future dates. Now, there's select dates. So like right now, the bounce back is going through December 24th, because obviously once you hit December 25th through the end of the year, it's kind of nuts. They don't offer discounts over Christmas typically. So they have select windows of travel. I know most of the summer's available right now on bounce backs, most of the fall, except for like around, few windows where there's like a race or something. So what you do is you put down a one night's deposit on that reservation. So you have to do it while you're there. You can't hold it. You can't do a 3-day hold. If you've ever done that, you cannot do that on a bounce back. You got to lay down the deposit. But here's the great part about that. That deposit is 100% refundable until 6 days prior to check-in. When you get home, you can cancel if you want to. You can change resorts based on availability. You can modify dates within the booking window. So you're not locked into it. What you're doing basically It's kind of like if you've ever done a Disney cruise and you put down the $250 for your placeholder for a future cruise to secure a discount. You can see back in the day, they just changed this over the past couple of years where now you just put down a straight 250. You're going to have 2 years to use that. You get your discount, you get your onboard credit. What they used to do is you had to put down a date. So you'd always put like, almost 2 years out on a 3-night Bahamian cruise to get the smallest deposit amount. And then you'd shuffle it once you found where you wanted to travel. So basically you just got to throw down a deposit, try to pick the dates you want in the resort, get as close as you can. Cause that way you're locked into that availability. You have that, you're guaranteed on that. But the thing is, don't stress like, oh my gosh, I'm on vacation. I'm not 100% positive that I want to stay at French Quarter in July and I might want to stay at Coronado. When you get home and take a deep breath and you unpack, then you can kind of go back and revisit that. So, but once you don't put down the deposit, that discount has flown the coop. It's gone forever. Right, Pam?
It is. It absolutely is. And typically with the bounce back offer, they have not only a room only offer, which requires a 1-night deposit, but they also have a package offer, which only requires a $200 deposit. And again, that is, you do have to cancel that a little further in advance. It has to be 30 days or more in advance, but still that gives you tons of time to really think about this. And like Mike said, don't stress too much about the dates that you're picking with the bounce back offer. I mean, if you know dates that you're coming back, absolutely book those dates. If you know kind of around where you're going to be, book those dates and then get with your travel agent when you get home. And again, if you are working with a travel agent, call up your travel agent and say, hey, we're here. Can you book me a bounce back offer? Because we're glad to do things like that. Go ride Space Mountain. Let us book your bounce back over offer because we can get it all set for you.
And what I tell my guests is like, we know typically what the offer is in general before you go, because like we know what it is right now for the rest of 2019, at least until Disney changes it, which they can at any moment. Yeah. But the thing is like what we do is I have a guest email me with what they're thinking about before they even leave on the trip. And then I say, okay, once you got my phone number. So once you get checked in, shoot me a text. We're here. Can you call on that bounce back here over the next, we're going to be here for the next 4 days. Yep. I do that right away. And then they're not wasting any time. They send a text message, 5 seconds, and it's like, they're going out having fun. Sure. I text them back. Yep. Got it nailed down. Got we're set up on the payment. We got it done and they're secured. And you know what? Sometimes it's before lunch on their first day and they don't have to worry about it. So
that's right.
Easy peasy. All right. So let's get to the next question. Where'd it go? Lost it, of course. Oh, it's Alfred. Here it is. He wants to do the eliminations dinner package. Is it only offered at Rose and Crown? I believe it is, right, Pam?
It's only offered at Rose and Crown because Rose and Crown has that beautiful patio area where you can have a great view of illuminations. Alfred, did we mention that all your drinks are included? Just wanted to put that out there.
So he's asking actually what's offered. So kind of walk him through. It's a 3-course meal with a drink included.
They did. It is. You get a sort of sampler platter of appetizers. And of course, the fantastic Scotch egg is a choice, but the cheese plate is a choice. And for me, those are 2 of my favorite things on the menu, period. So was, so glad to see both of those offered. The dessert as well is sort of offered as sort of a sampler plate. You got an assortment of puddings, if you will. But one of them was the very famous sticky toffee pudding that so many people enjoy at that location. And then they had a number of entrees from which you can choose. One of them was the famous fish and chips, of course, was there. It was so good. And I will tell you, like 95% of our party, if not our whole party,
every person on the table got the fish and chips. Every 100% of our party, we all got fish and chips, all like 12 or 14 of us.
There were some other choices. I believe there was corned beef and cabbage, and I think there was bangers and mash. There was a salmon, I believe, and there might have been a cottage pie. But yeah, it was really, it was a good meal. And I really loved being able to sit there for illuminations. I thought it was just, I think they did a great job, and it is a great viewing location. So see it before it's gone.
Remember too, #limited time magic.
Limited time magic. Yes. Remember that?
Of course, that's what it is right now because time is ticking.
I know, right?
All righty. Next question from Sammy. Hey guys, I'm headed to Epcot next month with friends, and our current plan is Fast Pass Frozen around 11 a.m. and a rope drop test track. Any suggestions on how to use our other 2 Fast Passes? Thanks. All right, so he's got Frozen Fast Pass at 11, so that's tier 1. So Let's see. Do you want to ride Spaceship Earth or Finding Nemo? You can do Mission Space.
Living with the Land.
I love that ride.
I know, I do too. I do too. And so the thing is, the parks are busier, and there are many times when you actually need the fast pass for Spaceship Earth. Otherwise, you're standing in a longer line, and it's absolutely true for Living with the Land too. I don't like to see people waste their fast pass on the Imagination attraction because there's rarely a line there, and that's true typically for Nemo. And I will tell you too, most of the time when there is a line in Nemo, I'm actually kind of happy about it. That place knows how to do air conditioning. The queue for Finding Nemo is always very cool and refreshing. So I'm happy to stand in that line. I think Spaceship Earth is a solid choice. I think Living with the Land is a solid choice. And I have challenges with all the, the movie sucks in a ton of people at once. So I think it's hard to really justify that. There's typically, you're going to wait until the next movie most of the time. There's not much more of a wait than that. So I think Epcot is the one that we all struggle with, right? In terms of, what do you use those other fast passes for?
All right, so we only have a few minutes left, but I want to get 3 questions in because they're good ones, and I want to get them in because they're new folks I've seen in the chat. So here we go. Laura's got a question. Do you have any 4th of July recommendations? This is our first Disney trip during a major holiday. It'll be myself, my husband, and our girls who will be 10 and 5. Thank you so much for making my day #freaking magical. Well, Laura, you are #freaking magical for being here. And come find us because we're going to be there over the 4th of July as well. We'll be at Epcot. I love Epcot on the 4th of July. Holds the crowds well. Lots of great places to get a sit-down meal, like late. I say early dinner. Say get an ADR around 4 or 5, 6 o'clock ish, and that way staying for the fireworks isn't too bad because by the time you get out of dinner, the sun's going down, it's cooling off a little bit, and they do an awesome show for 4th of July. So that's my biggest tip. Epcot on 4th of July, have an ADR early evening. So Pam, what do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. The Magic Kingdom will typically have their 4th of July show on both the 3rd and the 4th. Our technique has been to hit the Magic Kingdom on the 3rd, brave those crowds, but see that awesome fireworks show, and then be in Illuminations on the 4th. My big suggestion to you is make an ADR in whatever park you're going to be at on the 4th. You do not want to have to be fighting the crowds for quick service. You might take someone out at Pecos Bills. I'm just saying that line is going to be out the door. It's going to be hot. People are going to be frustrated, and it doesn't make for a good holiday. But yeah, make some plans in the evening. Make sure you have fast passes in the evening. We tend to go 4th of July. We leave our fast passes till the evening so we can be there in the parks knowing that we're going to be enjoying that, but we have some things to do. And leave that morning open maybe. Enjoy your pool. Do some Disney Springs. There's so many things to do outside the parks, and then enter the parks in the later afternoon and get ready to party for the 4th.
Yeah, the last couple of years, we've kind of slept in on the 4th, gone to the pool, all hung out, and then, showered up and then went to the parks like early afternoon. And then
you didn't really shower. You just
I swam. Exactly. I got wet. So that counts. Wipe the sweat off. I only ran 9 miles that morning. It was all good.
Whatever.
I didn't run 11. All right, Ashley's got a question. Finally convinced my husband that we make Disney World a yearly trip. We're having to decide between early February or early May. We worry about weather delays and sickness interrupting travel in February, but in May, it's also close to summer vacation already. Let's face it, I don't want to wait longer. Any suggestions to help tip the scales? So early February or early, man, it's hard to go against early May because the kids aren't out of school yet.
Right.
That is probably still one of these slowest times, which is not slow times, but I still say early May. God, the weather is amazing, and that's probably one of the lower crowd times of all year.
I agree. And the other thing you want to think about is you want to make sure that you avoid President's Day. Now, I know it doesn't happen until sort of mid-February, but if you're bumping up against President's Day, you will definitely see an increase in crowds. If you can absolutely avoid that, February is a great time to go. You'll have one of the Epcot festivals going on and whatnot, but be aware in February, you can have weather that is crazy pants, absolutely crazy pants. I've been there in February and March and had sleet, no joke, freezing. I was wearing my heavy down jacket at Disney World in February. What the heck?
Right.
But then I've also had absolutely beautiful weather. So I'm going to lean like Mike a little bit towards May. But I think both times are great times to go. They really are. You're going to see lower. I never say low anymore. There are no low crowds at Disney. So just be prepared. Let's concede that there are no low times to visit Disney World. There are lower times than others. And if you go with that mindset, you'll be great.
I heard this September is going to be real low crowds.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like something opening, I heard. I don't know.
See, here's what I was using for my resources. If I can get this down, I'm pulling down the bookshelf. It's my Walt Disney World for Couples 2002.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay.
Last night.
Right. Yes. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, good
here's what I'm going to say. What's happening.
Mickey, for those that are listening.
It is Mickey, yes, as Luke Skywalker. So September is not gonna even be close to a slow month. So
we'll see. All right, Jeff's got the last question of the day. He says, knowing your dislike of the Magical Express, I like Magical Express, so easy there, Jeff. I know he doesn't exactly. What do you do when arriving at the airport? Typically rent a car, a minivan, other. We're thinking of trying the minivan pickup just for something new as a splurge this trip. So Pam, I ride Magical Express because I'm tight as it could be. So what about you? What's the procedure? Because you guys always rent a car.
Yes, my husband is not very good at the bus situation. Now, when we're there with a big group, like will happen this summer, I think that he'll probably get on it a couple times. We have photographic evidence, I think, of him actually riding the bus a few times.
He actually got a celebration button for riding a bus.
He did. That was his celebration. That was his triumph.
It was personal triumph.
Personal triumph
for Hollywood Studios.
And you know what's funny is Steve is really one of the most patient people in the world. It's just that he values his time there and he just wants to be a little more in control of when that is. So we typically rent a car. We do at the airport. National Alamo, you can walk right out to the aisle and pick your car. And it's just awesome. And you know what? It's a small price to pay to keep my husband happy. I'm just saying, he doesn't hardly ever complain about anything. And having a car makes him happy. The other thing he will do, though, is he will Uber. And we have had trips lately where all we have done is Uber. We Ubered from the airport. We Ubered from resort to resort. We Ubered from, our resort to the parks and whatnot. And he's okay with that too, because he can, he calls the Uber comes, we go there. I think Disney transportation for so many people is just awesome. So many people love, like, not having to drive from place to place is part of the thing. The one time where it is a little more challenging is when you're going resort to resort. Those are, a little bit more, but, there's options for everyone. Thankfully, that's what makes the world go round. So
no, but for my trip in May, for the cheerleading thing, and again, I didn't get to book the hotel because it's all through the gym that she cheers with. Somebody decided to make all these decisions, and we're staying at a Disney Springs hotel that doesn't have Magical Express. So we are going to Uber from MCO over to the hotel because we're getting in real late. And I've Ubered from Wilderness Lodge to the airport, and that was amazing because I got there like in 30 minutes. It was so great. Like, my driver was great. It wasn't that, I think it was like $38. It wasn't expensive.
Right.
It gave me a ton of time. It was great. So I'm hoping that happens. But I'd rather just kind of be in that Disney bubble, get on the bus. But gotta do what you gotta do. So
it is a bubble
with Steve. Everybody likes their control, it sounds like.
And I will say the one thing about Uber is it is certainly not in the Disney bubble. I mean, we have had fantastic experiences and we've had questionable experiences where I was like, my door still opens, right? It's not locked. So
apparently Jennifer in the chat, I guess that she works in some corporate position. She says, we make our salespeople take Magical Express. It saved the company over $7,000.
Well, yes, I think that's absolutely, I would expect that the company to say, take the chopper chicken, as they say. In Father of the Bride.
Yeah, they're like, you can take any bus you like as long as it's Magical Express.
That's right. Yes, you can check in and take Magical Express and then take Magical Express.
So. And I love it too. She says we heart Magical Express there in the chat, and I love it. Yeah, I do too. So
yeah, lots of people do. I think it really works so well for some people.
It does. All right. Well, it's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for all the great interaction here on Facebook. You guys make this fun for us. And if you can, join us again. Next time, we'll post it on the Facebook page and recording. We may do another lunch show if Ricky's not back next week. If not, we're typically on Mondays around 5:30 Eastern. Don't forget, today's show is brought to you by the virtualmickey.com. Forgot what day of the week it is. And you got theme park news.
I like it's
I know. I was trying to think, what day are we? Yes, it is Wednesday. So theme park news Disney edition. It's a free app for your iOS device. Keeps you up to date with all the news. Let me just check right now. Let's do this live here since Ricky's not here. I'm going to click on theme park news Disney edition.
See what it is.
By Walt Disney right there coming up. And what do we have here? Stuff about Max Pass out at Disneyland. Let's see here. Or have a roaring good time for the planet at Disney's Animal Kingdom. I guess they're having an Earth Day party. Sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just reading headlines here. This is like, I'm so Twitter, I'm just reading headlines here. Hollywood Studios is going to have an upcoming live action movie preview for Aladdin. So they're going to have that.
I know. I saw that. That looks good. A lot of mixed reaction on Aladdin. That's why I think it makes people want to go see it. So
yeah, I just want to see Toy Story. I'm pumped for that.
I hope there's no crying involved.
Oh, I know. Seriously, after 3, I had to go see like a psychiatrist, I think. I was going to college. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff you get. It's better than reading the cereal box, and it's a free iOS app. So check it out today over at virtualmickey.com. It's called Theme Park News Disney Edition. Again, please use our Amazon affiliate link when you get a chance. The little purchases do add up. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. Check out the great website, BeOurGuestPodcast.com. Thanks again to Adam. Huge thank you to him. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Pod, which if you see stuff from England or France, it's because Ricky's using it, or she's so far away we can't get a hold of her. So you're going to see some cool stuff, Harry Potter stuff in Paris. She's going to Disneyland Paris. I'm going to call it Euro Disney. She's going to Disneyland Paris this week, so check that out. Be Our Guest Pod. Of course, Be Our Guest Mike as well. We got the Facebook page at facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, time to get out of here. We're going to be back again on Friday talking about the best things at Walt Disney World. Our best, and you throw it out there, the best taco, the best burger, the best place to sit by a pool. We're having a good time, and we need you to join us to give us that feedback as well. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Time to head back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Save that. Was a fun one. That was good.
That was a good one. I know, right? Our audience makes it so much better, and we need you for this next show or we'll die.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. I know. And the sad thing is, so like the inbox is just getting jammed because I tend to go to the live chat, so people are going to hang out with us. I try to do those.
Tell your bosses you have something you have to do.
This is a meeting. It's kind of like a staff meeting.
Right. Conference call.
That's exactly. It's a conference call.
It's a conference call that could have been an email.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Oh God, don't get me started on that. I used to get in so many. When I was still teaching, I'm like, seriously, this is a 5-minute email. Like we're sitting here, and then the art teacher, had nothing to get. If you're an art teacher, I'm sorry, but like it'd be a meeting that's focused on like reading goals, and of course, the art teacher has to go because they got to punish us all equally. I feel bad for the art and music gym teachers. Like, who cares? But they have to go because we're all getting paid the same. But then they'll come in with a question at the end, like, no, down. Who cares? You teach gym.
You cannot be that guy who, like, as it's wrapping up, you're like, I have a question. You're like, no,
you don't. No, you don't. Email me. I will answer you. Don't raise your hand. Like, I'm like, dude, the prices go up at Texas Roadhouse at 6:00. We don't have time for this.
Oh, Joanne's making us jealous. She said every day is Saturday for us. You are a lucky lady, my friend.
I know, for real. Someday I'm gonna be like Joanne, live in Florida, and
I hope they're keeping a house available down there for us. I keep saying to my husband, why are we not moving yet? He keeps saying, because my job's here. I'm like, well,
no, I know. I say the same thing to my wife. I'm like,
you may be here on your own in February and March, my friend. I can't take this much longer.
I always tell her, man, I made that tough decision. Now I can work from wherever I want as long as I have a laptop and a phone line. I'm good. She's like, yeah, but I'm not. I got to be in Florida. 6 years. 6 years. Anyway, all right, so let's get to cracking on Friday show. Here we go. Welcome to episode 1471 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the great agents over at the Magic for Less Travel standing by right now to help you plan a great Disney vacation. So just in case you like Disney, I don't know, maybe you do. You're listening to our show. Maybe you'd like to go to Walt Disney World, cruise the Disney Cruise Line. Maybe go out and see where it all started at Disneyland, or even Adventures by Disney if you want to get out there and see the world under the umbrella of the Disney brand. Hit me up. Let me know. I'm Mike.Rallman@themagicforless.com. We'll plan a great trip. Anyway, let's talk about great trips today. Let's have a good time talking about some of the best things around Walt Disney World. And we're going to lean on our live chat here on Facebook to help us out with some of the prompts and questions and comments. It's going to be a great time. So joining me today, we have Pam Forrester, co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel Up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What's going on, Pam?
Happy Friday, everybody. I love the smell of Friday, right? Yes. It is this time of year. Spring is in the air, sort of. Some people are getting their last winter storms of the year, let's hope. And I'm just, looking forward to the promise of spring here so we can have some Florida weather.
Here's the thing. I don't know if it's just me, and I'm going to ask our listeners listening today, wherever you are on a run, if you're mowing the grass now, it's great because it's spring. Maybe you do have to get outside and do those kind of lawn work, and it's a great time to listen to podcasts. I'll tell you that. Maybe you're just, doing some dishes, but whatever. Spring to me, like no other season, like this time of year right now, like around Easter, April, late March to early May, I get like the worst itch to go to Disney. I don't know, because maybe it's because I think maybe it was me because I was a teacher, and I know that in the spring we're getting ready for spring testing, and that kind of signifies like the beginning of the end of the school year, because after that it's all, we're watching movies and, we're doing the stuff that we didn't get to before testing. But the thing is, like, that was when I always just got so anxious to go to Walt Disney World more than any other time of the year. But I thought maybe it was just me because I'm a teacher. But is it like that for everybody in the spring, or do some people want to go in the fall more? I don't know.
I love a spring trip. It's actually one of my favorite times to go. You have the Flower and Garden Festival going on, which to me, I think is just a huge motivator to get me there. And there is something about the spring, like when the days start to get longer and we start to get nicer weather, I'm like waking up earlier and earlier, and I'm perkier and perkier in the morning. And I know that's annoying to some people. I apologize to people that it is annoying, but I wake up happy all the time and like ready to go, and 35 million, and I have 35 million ideas, right? I'm like, okay, we're going to do this, and this. I mean, it could be annoying. Thank goodness my husband is, the same way. He wakes up pretty happy too. So but there's just something about the spring trip that I think is so awesome, just to see everything looking beautiful down in Disney World. Not just Epcot, but the other parks are too. And just, it's like a celebration of, we made it. Look, I feel like if those people like me who have made it through winter, you deserve a little something. Yeah. You deserve a long weekend, for goodness sake. So anyway.
I think that might be what it is, because, like you said, the days are getting longer. It's warmer, which the warmer weather reminds me of Florida, and like everything's greening up. And so finally we're getting some color around us here, and it reminds me of Florida. And I just, this time of year, but I'm just like, oh, I gotta get down there. I love this place. So anyway, don't forget this Sunday night, we want to hear from you. We're going to be live on Facebook right here, taking your calls. Matt Parrish joining us from the 3028 and Wedway Radios. So questions, comments for Matt. They've been doing some great shows. I know it's funny because we had a show on Alani on Monday. They had a show on Alani on the 3028. Then I listened to another tech podcast. Guess what? He's on vacation in Hawaii. So I was like, this is like Hawaii. We just see George. And we'll see George on the podcast cruise here.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he's going to bring the dog, the guava dog?
I know. And the cat, Mai Tai cat. I know. I love that. I love those two names for his pets. That's awesome. What I really want to know is he going to bring whatever, the Instapot or whatever he needs to make his famous ribs that I see him making for folks? Is that going to be happening on the cruise? I think they take your Instapot if you try to bring it on, but dang it.
We've lost 2 hair dryers. I'm sure the Instapot's not getting in. My wife keeps trying and it never works. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about the best down at Walt Disney World. So we're going to limit it to Walt Disney World. I think maybe we'll go to Cruise Line a little bit towards the end. But I'll just throw some things out there again. Play along with us in the chat. So let me ask you this, Pam. We'll kind of ping pong back and forth.
Okay.
Best burger anywhere on property. We're not talking money. We're just talking if you wanted the best burger, where are you going to go?
You know what? I have two places and I'm going to name one of them. The Boathouse, I think, has a fantastic burger, that Gibson burger. Oh my goodness gracious. And I will tell you, this is a little, well, no, I'll leave this because this could be one in the future, but we have been going to the Boathouse and of course not making reservations because you know us people. And we roll in and you can sit outside and you don't have to make a reservation there. They don't take reservations for those seats outside, which by the way, are some of the best seats in the restaurant. You get to sit out there in the water, watch the water cars, the amphicars, right? Is that right?
Yep.
Amphicars go in and you get to watch that balloon, which for some reason Hannah's decided is terrifying, even though she's been up in it. But
hey, I'm not going in that thing. I think because what if the cable came loose? You'd end up like in Ocala or something. No, you'd end up, I don't know, like in Cuba, depending on the wind. Oh
no. No, you would not. But anyways, beautiful view and a great place to grab a burger. So what about you?
I really like the Duval burger over at Olivia's. If you can still get it, because I don't know
at
if
lunch, you can get it at lunch. Yeah,
because I really, really, really like that one. So I'm going to go with that one. It's so good. Oh.
Yeah, it is. I mean, a burger that has avocado and shrimp on it. I mean, what more do you want there, right? So anyways, Justin's agreeing with you there. The Gibson burger, so good, right? Oh man,
my mouth is watering right now. We're only the first thing. Oh, so good, so good.
Why are these questions about food?
All right, so well, here I'll give Alfred through one in here, then we'll get yours. So he says, let's go with what do you say overall is the best novelty snack at Walt Disney World? So something kind of that's unique to World.
This is just my personal preference, and it is boring as heck. I'll give you that up front. But I am a sucker for the Mickey pretzel because it's just a plain like Sam's pretzel, like I used to get when I was a kid. Right? It's not sweet. It's just plain old regular pretzel, and I love Disney popcorn. I just love those two things, and I can't get away from them. They're just so classic. What about you?
The thing I've been getting every trip over the past, say, 2 years, whether it's a marathon weekend, I went for Princess, we go in the summer, when we go down, I always get this, and I almost get it like 2 or 3 times a trip. And it's not really anything special. Again, it's a novelty from where it is and where you're eating it, but it's just that All-American Sundae that I always get from the ice cream shop right there on Main Street, USA. It's really not anything special. I mean, I guess they could make it just like that at Dairy Queen. It's really not too far off from a peanut butter parfait, which is what I have. Got caramel in it, which that doesn't. But it's just the eating it on Main Street, usually watching fireworks. It's just I do it over and over. But I will tell you, if you ever get one, do not spill that on your clothes. I don't know what's in that ice cream. It will not come out. I mean, I've got it on stuff and it does not come out after like 3 or 4 washes. So be careful. Just saying. All right, so give us another. What do we got here? Go ahead, Pam. Give us one. Hello. Hello, Pam. You there? Nope, we lost Pam. Hang on. Let me write that down. Here she comes. You there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost you there for a sec.
I lost you. I was still on Be Live. And I
thought you. I mean, you disappeared.
That's funny.
From me, so it's probably
that's so funny. Be Live.
Yeah, Be Live. Hey, we got through the first show. That ain't a problem.
I know, right?
All right, so through it to you. What do you want to go with the best?
All right, so I'm doing another food one. Unfortunately, sorry, it's going to make us all hungry, but we're talking about the best fried chicken.
Oh, best fried chicken I've had. I'm trying to think here. Because I typically don't get, but you know what? I feel like this is not, you're setting me up here. But my favorite fried, it's the buttermilk chicken at Olivia's. I get that every time I go. That's what I get when I go to Olivia's for dinner every time. Buttermilk chicken on mashed potatoes with gravy and green beans.
That's a good one.
Solid.
It's a really good one. So I'm going to go, of course, with Chef Art Smith's Homecoming. I don't typically get the fried chicken meal, although I know a lot of people do. What I have been getting lately is they have these, they call them, it's an appetizer. It's on the appetizer portion, thigh-high chicken biscuits. Oh my goodness. They are biscuits topped with the fried chicken thighs and bread and butter pickles, and they're drizzled with honey.
Oh, I love honey.
End of sentence. Period. So Hannah and I usually get that, and we split that as like our entree, and then we get some sides because I love the greens. I think the greens there are great, and Hannah loves the mac and cheese. So that's the way we roll. And Hannah gets her moonshine cup filled. So.
Yes, she does. That thing. I think the letterings wore off of the thing. Pretty cool.
That's true.
Pick me up. I think you've dropped her off at Disney Springs. Like, pick me up on Tuesday. I'll
right.
All right. So let's go to best souvenir. Like Disney's coming out with all these different kinds of ears and retro shirts and all kinds of stuff. But what would you say, like something you've seen lately that's like the best souvenir out there right now?
So for an adult, I'm going to say buy your souvenir before you leave home and add Memory Maker to your package and have that be your souvenir. You will never regret it. But for kids and people who are really looking to take something home, so this is going to show my age a little bit, but remember when they used to have CDs of all the music? I would always bring a CD home. Of course, you can't get those anymore because the kids are like, what's a CD? Like, why is there a CD?
What's funny about that though is now you can buy 33 LPs.
Yes.
In every store.
Yes.
Oh my God,
I know. Of course, they're ultra expensive as well. I mean, come on.
Cheap. You gotta, if you're gonna buy into being the hipster, dude.
I know. But for me, I think I really like bringing home a shirt. The Disney shirts are not inexpensive, but they really, I get home, I put that on, I'm in a Disney frame of mind. I just like it. I really and truly like it. So I'm going to go with the shirt. And I know that's plain and boring, but you got to go with who you are, right?
Yeah. Here's what I say. And I always get a shirt. And typically I always just get like the plain Mickey shirt. Like I've got a bunch of, and I know Steve gets those too.
Yeah.
Like it'll be, I have a blue one. I have a red one. I have a gray one. I just love those because really you can wear them with anything. And it doesn't scream like Walt Disney World 2019. It's just like, it's Mickey. It's kind of classic. So I like those, but I will say my favorite souvenir to get at Walt Disney World, kind of expensive, but I think this is something that you treasure for years. It's the toy monorail set that you can use.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, put it under your tree every year. It's kind of traditional. Always brings back the memories of your trips. It's like $89, but and it's kind of a, if you maybe you can get a discount, DVC, AP, but it's one of those things I don't think you ever regret getting it. It's expensive, but it's like, nothing, you push the button and it goes, por favor, mantenga en sale. It's so cool. I'd say it's very uniquely Walt Disney World itself. So
yeah, that's a good one.
All right, we got a bunch of them coming in here in the chat. So let's get to Joanne. She's got a great question. So best view overall at Walt Disney World. You want to get the best view of anything. So I have one. I have a cool one.
Okay.
Mine is on Expedition Everest. Just when you're going up that hill.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you look to your right, you can see almost all the property. Also, well, I really want to give two, but Summit Plummet's pretty awesome because you can see all the property before you get the world's worst wedgie. But yeah, that's kind of fun. So those are, I'd say, Everest for mine. So what about you?
So for me, the best view is going to be from your room in the tower at the Contemporary, looking over at the Magic Kingdom. I think the Contemporary in general has great views of the Magic Kingdom, but there is nothing better than that view from your room. People, you can be there in your pajamas and seeing the castle. Sure. And look over and you can sleep with the curtains open and see that castle all night if you want to. And I just think there's really something magical about that. It might be, I think everyone should do that once. Splurge and do it once. I don't think you'll regret it. It's just a really cool view.
Yeah, when I stayed at the Grand for that Toy Story event, when I had they didn't have a room for me. They like were cleaning. I had to change because we had the event to go to that night, and so finally they just like, we find your room, and it was a theme park view room. I was like, score, because I know the one I was going to have was just garden view. So but it put me in the worst pickle because I knew I was only there for one night. They only put us up for one night, and so it was like the worst conundrum that I was so tired from the day, from all the activities. And I knew we had this was going into our big summer vacation because it was like at the beginning, it was like 2 or 3 days before we were going to be there for a week. So I knew I was going to be there for 10 days. You know how tired you get at Walt Disney World. And I knew the next day was like busy. It was all kinds of stuff from like 8 o'clock on. But God, I did not want to go to sleep. Like I was like, go, I can see the castle. I can see the contemporary. I can hear the electrical water pageant. I can hear, like, this is what I've dreamed of my entire life. And I have one night staying with a theme park castle view. Like, if I fall asleep, it's all over. I
know, right?
It does put you kind of in a pickle as a huge Disney fan. I did not want to go to sleep, but I knew I had to. But I left the blinds and everything wide open. I didn't care. Somebody came in and got me. I don't care. Whatever. It was worth it. All right. So Tim's got a great question. I have no idea because I've never done this, but he's asking what resort has the best room service?
Wow, that's interesting. We don't do a lot of room service either. So you're going to want to stay, if you're looking for room service, it's got to be one of the deluxe resorts because the moderate resorts have a really limited menu, and so do the values. It's basically pizza and some sandwiches and wings and salads and stuff like that. But there is that when you stay at the Polynesian, you can order that thing that's like Ohana delivered to your room. That has to be the best room service, right? From what I hear, it is humongous, and it's Ohana in your room. I mean, you can't beat that. So, I think that would be one of the best places to go for sure.
All right, let's get to Natalie. She says, best drink from World Showcase. I'm a simple man and I don't drink beer. So that kind of eliminates a lot of stuff. I like the margarita there from Mexico, the 3-tiered one. They have like a mixed frozen. It's a frozen, right? And it's got like 3 different flavors on it. It kind of tastes a little bit different. It's all whatever, sweet and sour and tequila. Right. It's good, especially at the end of 26 miles. I love that margarita. What about you, Pam? What's your favorite go-to drink in?
So there's so many things that I really like there. But there's a limoncello mule at Via Napoli that Jocelyn got me started on. And I really, really enjoy that. I think it's a great drink. It's kind of refreshing. It's not too sweet. I do like mixed drinks and I do like beer. But I don't like mixed drinks that are too sweet. And I know that there's a lot of sweet ones and different people really like them, and that's fine. It's just not my taste. Limoncello mule for me is really great.
All righty, Betsy in the chat. She's always with us. We appreciate that so much. Best family-friendly tour. So by family-friendly, though, there's different kind of tiers that Disney has. Mm-hmm. My favorite overall tour, if you're just asking tour Keys to the Kingdom, no doubt. That's a great first tour, and it's a great tour that you can do more than once. Because you get to go to the utilidors, you get to get a real taste of the Magic Kingdom, you get a little backstory. A lot of us as Disney fans have probably heard 50% of the stories, if not more, because we just, we love this stuff. We read books, we listen to podcasts. But the thing is, every tour guide kind of has a little different spin. They can teach you something maybe you didn't get on your previous tour. But I think you have to be 16 to go on that one. So if you have older teen, maybe is 16, Pam? I can't remember.
The Keys to the Kingdom, I think it is. It is for that. They have, they're doing some things. They're giving you sort of a behind the scenes look that they don't want to ruin that for the younger guests. It's actually, you need to make sure for all those tours that you're of age, and it absolutely is 16. I just looked it up while we're there. So if you want a tour that anyone can go on, of course, the Family Magic Tour is available for you. And that's kind of fun because you get to solve sort of a riddle, right? Mm-hmm. And it says that it's best suited for guests, parties that have guests that are from 4 to 10 years old. So I think that's something to think about. Also, I was thinking for Star Wars fans, they have that Star Wars guided tour, which I think is, that has some really cool things for the Star Wars fan. You get VIP access to a lot of the Star Wars attractions and events and things like that. So that may be something I think that people could do. I'm trying to think. Those new Animal Kingdom tours are getting a lot of good feedback from there. So consider those as well.
All right, Justin's got a question. What is the single best dessert? We kind of talked about this, but single best dessert anywhere. He says he prefers the Ohana bread pudding, followed closely by the Ooey butter cake sundae from Ample Hills, but figured I'd throw the question out there to everyone. So you know what? Here's my thing. The thing that I crave, even more, and I don't know what it is, because I know folks up in the Northeast have Ample Hills, because I see people always torture me with, hey, I have Ample Hills around the corner. You know, I'd be 700 pounds if that happened to me, so I'm glad I don't. But I do love, I crave that ooey gooey butter cake ice cream cone at Ample Hills. But I mean, there's a lot of really, you know, think about the signature restaurants. For example, I've talked about this. I kind of mentioned it in passing on Wednesday, that when we had our meal at Jico, we had a dessert, which it was hard to describe because it looked like a bird, or like a bird nest. It was kind of stuff with almost like an egg in it. I don't know what it was. It tasted amazing. And the presentation was 10 times more than the taste. And it was great. So it's just, I think that at Walt Disney World, you have the opportunity to have so many different kinds of desserts that are just not available anywhere else, where I can get an ice cream cone anywhere. But, you know, I enjoyed that, but I just know I probably wouldn't get it anywhere else. So do you have anything that really, you know what? Here's another one. And I'll throw this real quick, because we did this for your birthday last year, I think. That big, what was that called? Baked Alaska thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God, that thing was good. And it was gigantic. It was like this, it was bigger than a football.
Yeah, absolutely. At the Boathouse, they have two of them. They have the Baked Alaska, which is really a lot of s'mores, a s'mores themed cake with chocolate and vanilla and graham cracker and marshmallows and stuff like that. And then also they have one that has like more nuts. I think it had like macadamia nuts and stuff like that. I will say the other thing I really like is there's a couple restaurants, and usually California Grill is one of them, where they have like sort of a chocolate lava cake. And it's like a cake on the outside, but then you cut into it, you know, there's just like molten chocolate there. And that's really, I mean, it's really rich and over the top, but it's usually a really good thing.
Oh, we're killing us, guys. Killing us. All right. And so just back to Cheryl says, you know, her favorite souvenirs, keychains, and phone cases, because you get to use that every day, which I agree with that. Let's see. Jessica gets in-laws photos in a Disney frame from the trip. And then we're getting a lot of, for best view, Joanne says the Kappa at Four Seasons. I've been there. So I don't know. That'd be
absolutely
awesome. Seconded by Jennifer Sheldon. And let's see here. We have, so Carrie's asking, best character to interact with. This is kind of a tough one, because I don't really do a lot of character meet and greets. And I would say, obviously, it would be a face character rather than a fur character, because it leads you to interact a little bit more. You know, I've heard here's two that I'll throw in, and they're both character meals. The breakfast, the Bon Voyage breakfast at Trattoria Al Forno, and the stepsisters over at 1900 Park Fair. They really kind of will give you a hard time, or, you know, kind of get into the whole role-playing thing.
Yeah, I think that they do a great job. The other character I think that consistently does a great job is Goofy. You see him interacting with people in a way that, you know what I mean? It's crazy. He really is his character for that. So, you know, I really appreciate the way that he interacts with people too.
Oh, there's a good one. Craig says Kylo Ren or Chewie. Those are really, yeah,
Those are good ones too.
Solid. Yeah, Kylo Ren, man, he's intimidating. That's a good one. And so, yeah, Jessica talking Mickey, R.I.P.
Yes.
Lost his voice. All right, so next one is, and I think this is a really interesting one. I can't wait to hear everybody's feedback too over the weekend. Again, we do these on Friday, so we can have a discussion on Facebook. You can put your comments, and then again, Sunday night, call in, and we'll kind of expand the show out. We'll ask Matt some of these things. Best bang for your buck when it comes to a table service meal. So where you're getting the best value, I guess, in essence, when you're going to a table service meal. What would you say, Pam?
I think that Kona offers a good, solid choice. One of the things I think you want to look at when you're looking at the table service meal and the value that you're going to get is whether or not, you know, there's desserts there that you really like and entrees that you really enjoy. You know, Kona has a good solid steak, but they have a lot of other choices from which you can choose. They also have fantastic and beautiful desserts. And I think that adds to the experience. And now, especially when you're using one of the dining plans, they include alcohol at this point. They include a specialty drink. It can be alcoholic or non-alcoholic. So consider that in the planning. The dining plan works for so many more people now just because of that one thing. So think of that.
I'm going to have to go with, for the best bang for your buck at a table service meal, Beer Garden at Epcot. Because if you think about it, I mean, okay, so here you go. I mean, you got, it's a buffet. And there's lots of good options there. You got lots of meats, sausages, lots of sides, lots of potatoes kind of things, breads. salad options. I mean, and really, really good desserts. I love the desserts. I don't know exactly what they are, but there's this one thing that's super light and fluffy. It's like a brownie, but it's super light. Oh, so I could eat like 6 of those. So it's really good. But if you think about it, it's like dinner in a show. You got the little band there, and it's very themed. When you're in there, it's like you're in a village. So you're going into a themed environment with live entertainment. You got a buffet, so everybody can find something they like. I like the communal seating. It's kind of unique. You know, you don't get a lot of places like that. It very much reminds me of the cruise experience. If you just kind of go on a cruise and you don't request a private table and you just roll the dice, because a lot of times, I'll tell you what, if you've never done, I know a lot of people haven't cruised or you're getting ready to go on your first cruise. If you can, don't go with a private dining, because honestly, just from personal experience, we've met great friends over the years from all over the country, and we have things in common because we sit there and we talk over dinner. And that's the same thing happens at Beer Garden. You know, you're at Walt Disney World, so you have something to talk about. You know, hey, what'd you guys do today at Epcot? You know, or, you know, oh man, I went to the Magic Kingdom yesterday. It was crazy. And you're already talking about things. Then you find out, you know, you have a lot in common, and it's great to meet new people. It's kind of what it's all about. And the price at Beer Garden isn't horrible. It's one of the cheaper meals, cheaper chicken meals in World Park.
Yep. You're right. It's a good choice. And really any of the character meals, you know, I know we're just talking about the best value for your table service, but if you're on the dining plan, if you're doing any of the character meals, it's a great deal on the dining plan. So consider that.
What did they say? I was going to wrap it up with that funny thing they always say, oi, oi, oi.
Yes. Ticky tacky, oi, oi, oi.
I can remember the first word. Ticky tacky.
Yes. Yes, that's it.
That's what it is. Oh man, I love that place. Is fun. But I mean, you really kind of, if you're not somebody that likes like meats and sausages, it may not be your jam. But there's a lot of good sides and salads too. But you know,
for sure. There's tons. They have great side dishes.
All right, so let's throw this one in, because you mentioned this one actually. I think before we hit the record button, as we started recording, Pam, you were asking the best resort to get a good night's sleep. That's kind of an interesting one. So what were you thinking along those lines? I said All-Star Sports.
And that's wrong.
Yeah, during either Pop Warner or a cheerleading competition. No, that's probably not a good idea.
I was just thinking about the resorts that have really comfortable beds. And I've been liking the bed at the Yacht Club when we've been staying there lately. I actually find that the beds that sort of sit on the platform, you can put your luggage under, are more comfortable than the traditional beds.
Agreed.
I don't know. And so everyone I've talked to sort of feels that way. So, you know, I really like those. And the Yacht Club has them. Coronado has them. There's a few other resorts that do too. Pop Century, of course, with those newly renovated rooms. But any place that has those sort of newly renovated rooms where you can slide underneath does. The other thing the Yacht Club does really well is their curtains are like blackout curtains, like dark. And, you know, you can make the room get cold, and I think that makes for good sleeping. So,
you know, I'm going to go with kind of an oddball one. I'm going to say Coronado Springs. For some reason, and again, I didn't go with the deluxe resort, which again, the deluxe resorts obviously have a little bit better amenities, bigger rooms, probably more comfortable beds. But Coronado, coming out of that refurb, those beds are new. They're really, really comfortable. And for some reason, and I know there's a lot of people because they don't make all these buildings with all these rooms in them to sit empty. But for some reason, when I go to Coronado, it never seems crowded where I'm staying. It almost feels like when I walked in my room at Coronado many, many times, and I mean, this could be in the summer because this happened last summer. I'll walk to my room and I won't see anybody. And it's so weird. Or maybe I'll see like 5 people. And that building has to hold a couple thousand people. It's, I don't know if you ever notice that at a certain resort, Pam. I feel like when I'm at Coronado, I'm always feeling like I'm by myself. And I know it's full. Because cars are in the lot and I just don't get it. It feels very remote. It's quiet. I don't have people walking around my room.
No, you're right. No, it is. It always does feel that way. I don't know what it is. Certain resorts seem to manage crowds better than others, I think.
Nice. All right. So give us another scenario that we can do with the best here, Pam. And we lost Pam again. Let's get the train in. Can you see me? Pam will be back in a sec. Hang on. I agree about the Riverview rooms at French Quarter and Riverside too. Those are good ones. Here she comes. Lost you again. Oh, what's going on?
Boom. I gotta go in like a couple of minutes here, so we gotta wrap it up because I have that next one. But yes, so I'll take it up. So let's think about, I know we already had a drink one, but how about overall best drink like at Walt Disney World that you can get anywhere? And I'm thinking of this because we've been spending a lot of time at Geyser Point lately. And I've had some great drinks there. I'm just gonna say this. I think there's a few of them that are really good. But the one I have been getting, I believe is a mule, a black cherry mule, and it's really, really good. So I don't know, Mike, I know you're not a huge drinker, but there are a few places I know where you get drinks.
I like the Leaf and Lizard at the Nomad Lounge.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Just because of the name, but it tastes good, and that's a good one. Okay,
really
we got to wrap this up, but let's get to Teresa's here. She's asking best lounge. Now you got to pick between two, Geyser Point or Nomad. Which one are you going to pick? Which one has the best overall experience?
I've really been liking Geyser Point lately. I really have. I love the views there. I like the food that you can get there. They have appetizers and then sort of, heavier entree like thing. Well, not really entrees, but like sandwich and stuff like that. It's solid food. And they just have some unique drinks. And can you beat looking out either at, the lake there or looking back at the lodge? I don't think, you get a bad view in that place. So really like that. But there are some great lounges in Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I'll say, Geyser Point's great on a beautiful day. Like I said, solid food, great atmosphere. But Nomad Lounge, we've ridden out like thunderstorms on that outdoor covered patio, and there's nothing like it. That is awesome.
That was a great one. And I will say another great spot is, of course, Territory Lounge at Artist Point. I think that place is solid. And how about we're looking forward to see what they have at Grand Floridian to replace Misner's.
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast.
All right, well, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for dropping in again. Join us Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, right here on Facebook. Matt Parrish joining us from the 3028 and Wedway Radio. We're going to have a good time taking your calls. And don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. So when you're planning that next Disney getaway, and we know that you need to do that right now because we're Disney fans, drop by the Magic for Less, check out all the great specials, look at the resort guides, look at all the destinations. While you're there, fill out that free no obligation quote. Let them know you heard about them here on the Be Our Guest podcast. And we'll be planning a great vacation right away. We'll work it out so you get it just perfect for you. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Don't forget our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. We appreciate it each and every time you use that link. Give us a follow on the social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Be Our Guest Pod and at Be Our Guest Mike. And drop by the Facebook page again, facebook.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. All right, we're going to get out of here for the weekend and hope that you have a great one. We'll be back again on Monday with another wonderful trip report. So for Pam and Ricky, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Whatever you do, stay safe, and we'll see you real soon. All righty, we got you out there.
Sorry, I had to end. All right, I got to jump on another call, but we need to do another one of those shows again because that was fun.
That was fun. All right,
bye, Facebook.
See you guys. Thanks. You guys were awesome. See you.
Bye.